Fundamentals of Chinese 2, Unit 5, Studying Chinese. Preparing for a Chinese class. Understand it. Turn to pages 188 to 190 in your textbook. Grab a pen or a pencil and take notes as we go along. Okay, so you've seen the video for this dialogue. They're in a classroom just before class starts, and they're getting ready. And Leo comes in late, and so in the dialogue in our textbook it starts out with this phrase in parentheses, sort of setting the scene, and it says Leo 跟白银爱说话. Leo 跟白银爱说话. So what does this mean? Pause this recording and think about it or write it down before going on to the next slide. And if you came up with Leo is talking with Bai Ying-ai, then you are correct. And remember here, with many verbs in Chinese that talk about what two people are doing together, remember that in Chinese they use this, gen, which means with, and they'll say person A with person B is doing something. So Leo 跟白银爱说话. Leo with Bai Ying-ai talks. So in English we usually say verb, subject, verb, object. Leo is talking with Bai Ying-ai. But in Chinese it's different. It's Leo 跟白银爱, and then finally comes the verb 说话. Okay, next we have 白银爱, 你平常来得很早，今天怎么这么晚? Okay, 白银爱, 你平常来得很早，今天怎么这么晚? Okay, so the first new piece of vocabulary here that you have not yet seen is 平常, and both of these are second tone. 平常, 平常. 平常 means usually. Usually. 白银爱, 你平常来得很早. So you should be able to sort the meaning out of what this first part is here. In fact, you could pause right now and try and write down in English what you think this first part means. And then she says, 今天怎么这么晚? Actually, you haven't learned 早 yet. So let's take a look at 早 right now. Now you look here up at the top of 早, you have the pictograph for sun. The sun, and it looks like it's coming up over the horizon here. So you guessed it, 早 means early. So 白银爱, 你平常来得早. Okay, now you might be able to take a crack at that. 你来得早，今天怎么这么晚? 怎么? 今天怎么? Okay, 怎么 means how or how come. It's like an interrogative question, beginner. How come you did this? How come you did that? What you want to do is take a look at the grammar point. Grammar point number 7 on page 191, and it will give you some more examples of 怎么 and how it's used. Alright, next in this sentence we have 这么, 这么晚. 这么, you've seen both of these characters before. Together, 这么, they mean so, as in the way we use so in English before an adjective to emphasize it. So, you came late, or you came so late, right? So, because so in English can also mean therefore. So you can't use it that way. you couldn't say I'm tired, so I will not go. You can't say 我累了 这么不走. You can't say that. It doesn't mean so as in therefore. It means so as in I'm not just tired, but I'm so tired. 晚 means late. 晚 means late. You can see the sun is still in this character here. Here's the sun. Here it is in 早. Here it is over here in 晚. So 早 and 晚, early and late, are both used to describe significant times of the day. Early morning and late evening. And so sun is the, always related to time. We use the sun. So that may help you learn these characters. Okay, so pause this recording and try and write down what you think this sentence means in English. 白英爱，你平常来得很早，今天怎么这么晚? Hopefully you came up with something close to this. 白英爱, you usually come to class early. 你平常来得很早. Why are you so late? 今天怎么这么晚? And you could have added a today in here to match up with this today here. Alright, so 白英爱 comes back with an explanation of why she was so late. 我昨天预习中文，早上4点才睡觉。你也睡得很晚吗? Okay, so here we have 早 again, okay, early, but this time it's together with the character 上 to create a word, and the word is 早上, and 早上 means morning. 早上, morning. So you should be able to figure out this sentence. 我昨天预习中文，早上4点才睡觉。才, so you remember this, what this 才 does. And then she asks Leo a question. 你也睡得很晚吗? Okay, so pause the recording and try and write down what you think this sentence means. And I'm sure you came up with something close to, yesterday I was previewing or reviewing or preparing Chinese. 我昨天预习中文. Remember, 预习 literally means preview, but we would rarely say that in Chinese. We might just say preparing. I didn't go to bed until 4 in the morning. Remember, this 才 is like I didn't do something until. I didn't do something until is kind of what this 才 does. Morning, 4 o'clock, 才睡觉. Right? In English, we would say I didn't go to bed until 4 o'clock in the morning. In Chinese, they say morning, 4 o'clock, 才睡觉. And when you put 才 before the verb to sleep, it means finally slept, or morning 4 o'clock, finally went to sleep, is the feeling of this sentence. 你也睡得很晚吗? Did you go to bed late too? Leo comes back, responds, 我昨天10点就睡了，因为王鹏帮我练习中文，所以我功课做得很快。Okay, so really I think the only new thing here is 功课. 功课 is homework. So you should be able to piece together the meaning of this sentence, what Leo said, now that you know the word 功课. So 我昨天10点就睡了. 就 remember jiu is kind of the opposite of 才, right? 我才睡觉, I didn't go to bed until, okay? 我就睡觉, jiu here is saying that you probably, if 才 is saying that when you went to bed, 我才睡觉, it's saying you went to bed late, probably later than you usually do. And then if you say 我就睡觉, means that you probably went to bed earlier. It means you went to bed quickly or earlier. So 我昨天就睡觉了，因为王鹏帮我练习中文，所以我功课做得很快. So you have a because and therefore construction. So pause this for a couple seconds and write down what you think this sentence means. Okay, you likely came up with something close to this. No, yesterday I went to bed at 10 because Wang Peng helped me practice Chinese. I finished my homework very quickly. Alright, next we have Buying Eye says 有个中国朋友真好. 有个中国朋友真好. And then in parentheses it says 上中文课. So this piece here will be covered in a minute. The meaning of, you know, 中文 means Chinese, and 上课 will be covered in a couple slides. So just taking a look at this here, pause the video, and what do you think it means? Write down what you think it means. It's great to have a Chinese friend. Okay, so Buying Eye is making this point that it's easier for Leo to do homework because she has a Chinese friend. Okay, now the teacher comes in and says, 大家早，现在我们开始上课。第七课你们都预习了吗? Okay, so the first new piece of vocabulary here is 大家. 大家 is a very common word. It means everybody. 大家. Everybody. 大家早. And you know 早 means early. And you know that 早上 means morning. And so the Chinese greet each other sometimes by adding 早 after certain ways of addressing people. So in this case, we have 大家, which means everybody. So 大家早 means good morning, everybody. Here the 早 means good morning. 大家早. You could also say, Chinese don't really say 你早. They don't say that. So don't try and take the ni and then put 早 on the end. But they do say 大家早. So when you're addressing 3, 4, 5, a group of people and you want to say good morning to them, you can say 大家早. 大家早，现在我们开始上课. Okay, 开始means to begin something or to start. 开始. So what are they going to start? Leo and Buying Eye are talking, and they're sitting in what looks like a classroom, and then all of a sudden the teacher starts talking and says, we're going to start doing something. So what do you think they're going to start doing? 现在我们开始上课. So this is a verb, obviously. So what is that? 上课 means to start class, or here it means to start class. It can also mean go to class. So if you're walking on the campus and someone says, where are you going? 你去哪儿? You can say 我去上课. I am going to class. Or you could also say 我上课. 我去上课. I'm going to my class. If you're in class and someone calls you on your cell phone and you answer it, which you probably shouldn't, but you answer it, and then they say 你现在在哪儿? Where are you right now? 你现在在哪儿? You can answer and say 我上课. 我上课. 我在上课. I'm in class. Here, 上课 means to start class. 现在我们开始上课. So you now have everything you need to know here, I believe. So pause and try and write down in English what you think this means. We'll just go through it real quick. 大家早，现在我们开始上课。第七课你们都预习了吗？ Okay, so I'm sure you came up with something close to this. Good morning, everyone. Let's begin class. Have you all prepared for lesson 7? And then the whole class responds and says, 预习了. Okay, and here you see the 了 showing that this is an action that they completed. 预习了. So what does it mean? Pause. And they're just saying, yes, we have. So in English, if you're asked a question, did you do something? Did you eat? We can just respond and say, yes, I did. Nowhere in my response do you see the verb eat. Yes, I did eat. But usually we just cut out the word eat. So in Chinese, 预习了, whenever you're asked a question in Chinese, you usually, in most or all cases, you have to answer with the verb. There's no generic way to answer like we do with yes, we have. You have to say in Chinese, if someone asks you if you did a verb, then you respond by saying the verb. 你预习了吗? So I'm going to ask you, 你预习了吗? And you're going to respond saying, 我预习了. Okay, you have to repeat the verb. And that's important to remember for this class when you're doing exams or doing the workbook exercises, that you can't just respond saying 对 or 不对 or 不 or 是. Those are really not responses that we want to see. We want to see full sentence responses. Okay, the teacher addresses Leo and says, Leo, 请你念课文，念得很好。你昨天晚上听录音了吧? Okay, so the first new vocabulary in this sentence that the teacher says is 念. Now, 念, you've learned 看书, read a book, 看书. So you've learned that 看 means to read a book. 念 means to read aloud, to read out loud, to recite. 念. So the teacher says to Leo, 请. And here, 请 doesn't mean invite someone out to like a movie or restaurant or something like that. It just means please. 请你念课文. Okay. 课文 is the text of a lesson. So read aloud the text of a lesson. Leo, 请你念课文. You should know this here, 念得不错, because you just learned how to use adverbs in Chinese, how to make adverbs. 念得很好. 录音. 录音 is a sound recording, to record. 录音, to record your voice. 录音. 录音. So what does this mean? You should be able to sort this out. We know this first part here. Leo, 请你念课文, 念得 很好。你昨天晚上听录音了吧？ So hopefully you came up with Leo, would you please read the text aloud? You read very well. Did you listen to the tape recording last night? She responds by saying 我没听. So that should be pretty easy. Pause and write down what you think that means. 我没听. No, I didn't. I did not listen. Now, may is when you're responding in the negative about the past. So if someone says, do you want to listen? I would say, let's say, hey, someone said to me, do you want to listen to this? 你想听吗?你想听这首歌吗? Do you want to listen to this song? And I didn't want to, then I would say, 我不听. Yeah, so basically think of it this way. If someone says, do you want to listen to a song? You would respond by saying, 我不听 or 我不想听. That means you don't want to do something right now. But if you're talking about the past and you want to make it negative, I did not listen, then we say 我没听. Okay, 没, probably a good rule of thumb. I know sometimes I get myself into trouble when I try and state it as a hard and fast rule. But a good rule of thumb is 没 before a verb is the equivalent of didn't. I did not. We did not. I did not. You did not. They did not. Put this may before a verb and it's the equivalent of saying that you did not do that verb in the past. 我没有吃, I didn't eat. 我没睡, I didn't sleep. 我没睡好, I didn't sleep good. 我没吃好, I didn't eat good. I didn't eat enough. 我没打电话, I didn't call. 我没做功课, I didn't do homework. 我没看书, I didn't read the book, etc. And then Bai Ying-ai comes back and says, 但是他的朋友昨天晚上帮他学习了。他的朋友，但是他的朋友昨天晚上帮他学习了。学习, I'm pretty sure you've studied before, but here it is again, and it means study. So you should be able to sort this sentence out. Pause the recording and try to write down what you think this means. But her friend helped her study yesterday evening. 但是她的朋友昨天晚上帮她学习了。Pay attention to this word order. But her friend yesterday evening help her study. And then the teacher asks, 你的朋友是中国人吗? 你的朋友是中国人吗? That you should be able to figure out. Pause and write down the English meaning to this sentence. Is your friend Chinese? And Leo says, 是. And then Bai Ying-ai comes back and says, 他是一个男的，很帅，很酷。叫王鹏，他是一个男的，很帅，很酷。 叫王鹏. Okay? 帅 means handsome. Handsome. 帅. 他很帅. And he's also 很酷. Cool means cool. Now, cool actually comes directly from English. Chinese watch a lot of American movies, and they hear us in movies and TV shows saying, "Cool, that's really cool. Oh, that's so cool." And so they've taken "cool" and they've just transliterated it into Chinese, "cool." So this character has no meaning. The character here doesn't mean cool. It's the character they've chosen to represent this phonetically. Cool. So cool just means cool. So put together this whole sentence. 他是一个男的，很帅，很酷，叫王鹏. Pause and write down what you think it means. And if you came up with it's a he, or it's a boy, it's a man, he's handsome and cool, his name is Wang Peng. And that concludes our Understand It lesson for Unit 5.